Put your headphones on for proper audio quality, motherfucker.
What it do? It is the boy. So, aka Mr. Goody that who am I with as always? Joseph Huggie, aka Old Man Huggie. Talk shit or get off the pod. Episode 127. The spy who peed on me. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Welcome, motherfuckers.
What's up, man? Ooh, sketch. We were doing the countdown to go live, and I realized my mic, it hadn't recognized my mic. So I was like,
better recognize that. Mike, put some respect on that.
Shit, for how much money this fucking thing was, even like 5 years ago. Yeah, I better recognize it. But, oh yeah, I would be pissed. No, this shit's annoying, but got it working. Nick of time. A little bit of an awkward delay. Good to be back, sir. Good to see you.
Good to see you. The little weirdos right behind me, and you might see a little doggy donut neck brace on her.
Oh.
She had to get coned up today, like at midnight last night. I like go to bed, and like she jumps on my bed, and she's just chilling, and I'm like pretty high, and I'm like in the middle of like an online poker game for like $1. And it's dark, and I just look down, and it looks like she got shot in her leg. I'm like, what? I was like, is this real? And I like slowly like get up, turn on the light, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it is like, seriously, like she got shanked on the prison yard in her leg. And I was like, she had the zoomies like earlier in the night, like ran like crazy around the backyard. But like, at no point did she seem like she was hurt, and still at this point she doesn't seem like she was hurt. Yeah. And it was like really bad, and like so I split custody, with the shorty.
Yeah.
So it was like, it went from one of those things like is this like so bad that I should call her, to like, ooh, this is really bad, do I have to call her? Like,
Yeah.
It's like, if I don't call her, is this gonna be a problem? Like,
yeah,
that's
like,
how bad it was.
could you lose daddy rights? No, I'm just saying.
It's not the daddy rights issue. It's more like cause a problem, and you know what I'm saying? Like the way that I always approach it is anything that I would want her to include me in on, I include her in on.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that therefore, like, she doesn't have any, excuses. So it's like, if she texts me like hey, like because like all the time I text her, like when I'm missing my dog, I'll be like, proof of life, send it to me now, and like she'll send me a picture.
Okay.
So if she doesn't say it like that, but if she says something like that, I do it just so that she'll do it when I ask.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, and honestly,
it costs $900.
I got to give you credit. We're at episode 127, and I remember being like, nah, bro, that's a bad idea. Because I tried to do doggy custody with someone way back in the day. Dog still got a good life, but bitch stole the dog. That's basically the only way to like took it. That was like the one way to really get at me for the whole thing, was take the dog, and it took like about a year of doing like, and I was just like, nah, bro, like never again. I'm not.
Bro, she took the condo, man.
Well, that's true.
We walked in there. It was worth 400 G's. I got kicked out. It was worth like 850,000. So I was like, I was like, dude. And then a month later, I got laid off from my job, but that was whatever. Like that, but like, you're not gonna take my house and my dog.
Well, no, I mean, and that's
And your boy's litigious.
But I gotta say,
Your boy's
I'm just
litigious.
saying, kudos to y'all for having like a good, healthy co-parenting dog relationship.
It's something that like nobody's like going on first dates as hard as me in my life. Like I don't know anybody else who's
He's out
on that
there,
grind.
them streets, dude. Gilbert Arenas
Yeah.
trying to get that contract when he got with Orlando Magic there at the end, but he was still like the highest paid in the NBA. He's like, I'm still getting paid by everybody else. I just want to play.
No, I'm more like LeBron when he's like shopping around teams and like ready for his next contract, ready to go to the Lakers, but he's like taking, he's like going to get his dick sucked and do coke in Miami for a couple days. What Pat Riley's rolling out like 10 championship rings in front of him. You know what I'm saying?
He's got Alonzo Mourning, like just like throwing cash,
massaging you while you're naked.
You want Alonzo Mourning to rub you down? I'll get Alonzo Mourning to rub you down.
Fuck yeah, I do.
Do you want to see
cleans?
Do you want to see do you want to see the kidney that they replaced? He'll show you his kidney. Whatever you want, LeBron.
I want to see that fucking kidney.
Yeah,
that kidney's coming out.
I did.
But no. What I was gonna say is, so
reached out. You had to.
No, on the first dates.
Oh.
Just inevitably, somebody will say something about the tattoo I have of my previous dog Dylan, or like I've got a picture of Wera in like my Bumble and Hinge pictures. So the dog will get brought up, and I never think about it, but I've told myself to stop. But like I bring up how we split custody, boom, not a single girl thinks that's like it's just a red flag for them because nobody's ever handled it as well as I have.
Well, because
it's been 2 years.
Well, but that's also because there is some control factor. There is some like
they don't understand how like platonic and like absolutely it's not a messy situation. They don't know that, but just out the gate saying that I split custody with it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Well, kudos to you for being able to do that. But did you reach out and let her know about the fucking street fight?
I called her at midnight, and like I took it like a video and picture and showed and like sent it to her, so she had a frame of reference when I called her, and she didn't freak out, but Tuesdays I have off, but there's the company meeting at 7 a.m. So I went to the company meeting. It's like 15-20 minutes at 7, and then my brother and my mom had seen, because we're all like here together right now, had seen the cut, and like we're texting me, but I got back at like 7:30, and they're like, hey, I think Ware needs to go to the, I'm like, I know, like and I could tell because I ran into a tree in 4th grade at a birthday party, and like had to get stitches, and then my dad was like, how about we take you back to the party, that'd be tight, and he did. And like at one point I'm just like bleeding out of my stitches. It's kind of crazy, but like that's what it seemed like, that she had like punctured it like on a tree or something, and like the way that it was punctured, it was like it wasn't gonna like heal properly. It was like with John Travolta in Face Off when he gives the daughter like the butterfly knife.
You twist it.
Yeah, you stick and twist it, and the wound never closes. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
And so but then. So I take her to the vet. Vet doesn't open until 8:30. So I'm like outside of it. I walk in at 8:30, and then I tell him what happened. He's like, "Oh, okay. We're gonna have to call it an emergency, which makes the exam fee cost bumps it up to $85." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." Like, okay, the doctor gets in at 9:30. I was like, "Cool." So then we were back there at 9:30, and then I, talked to the doctor, and then it's gonna cost $900, and they're gonna sedate her, like put her under, and then like give her sutures and shit, like stitches, and then like antibiotics and all this stuff, and everything together was like 900. But we got pet insurance recently, so we think the pet insurance will just cover like 90% of it. Not sure.
Yeah.
But so like whereas got separation anxiety, she's on 40 milligrams of Prozac, and so is the baby mama. They have the exact same prescription, so they just switch. They just pill trade. You know how it is out here in California. I'm not even kidding. She's like, oh, just give her some of mine right now, and then it's like it's weird, but so they know that because I just filled out a bunch of forms saying that, and then she's like the like nurse or whatever. She's like, okay, well, you can just leave her here. She's like, the surgery time. Then now it's 10 o'clock, like on the dot. She's like, the surgery time's like from 12 to 4, so it could be really any time in there, like in between there. I'm like, wait a second, it's 10 o'clock right now. So you want me to just give you my dog to like what chill back here by herself for 2 hours, and then maybe you'll start the surgery at noon, maybe at 4. What? No. I was like, are you kidding? And then she's like, well, I can ask the doctor if like we could just do it right away. And I was like, yeah, do that. And then she comes back and she's like, okay, yeah, we could do it right now. I was like, okay, cool. She's like, it usually takes like an hour or 2 hours. And I'm like, all right, I'll be here. And then like an hour later, uh, her her drugged up ass was well, like when she first walked out, like they gave her like a giant cone, like I paid for that. I probably should have told them now. Keep like I won't, I don't need it.
Yeah.
But so when she walked out, she was like all like kind of happy, and then we got in the car and just immediately like passed out on the propofol, Michael Jackson style. Like probably had like like Michael Jackson on like a Macaulay Culkin, like like 2 a days.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So she just passed it out, and I just chilled out. Like, I was in this poker tournament, 400 people, and it's a knockout tournament, and I knocked out like 17 people, and it was like a $10 buy-in, so it's like $2.50 on everybody's head. I had like $47 in knockouts. This is while I'm waiting for Wera. It was like I had like a million chips at one point. It was like 600,000 more than second place, and it was a part of the contest called like King of the Ring, and it was like how many people can you knock out? And there was like a leaderboard, not just for that tournament, but like for the whole site. And I was like, dude, I'm pretty good at knocking people out in these games, and it was like nuts. Like I think like
How'd you finish?
I I'll tell you how I finished on the bubble for last one. Not to get into the money. How funny is that?
Damn.
No, not even a problem.
Because you had knockouts, at least you made something.
Yeah, because like
of it.
seventh place, I think it's $47. So and that's what I made.
Yeah,
So
then you're fine.
yeah, I was fine. I mean, but the best part of these, because they're progressive knockouts, so everybody you knock out, you're getting half of their bounty, and the other half is going on your head, and then it just keeps building. So when you get to the last like two, whoever wins gets all of the bounties, that
Yeah.
were like piled up. So that's my goal. I've never won a bounty tournament, and that's where you really cash in. Because like first place was only $300, but this prize pool was $4,000. So like it's really like right there at the end, like the guy who knocked me out, who did like okay, this is really what happened. I had ace queen, and this guy had pocket sixes, and he caught trips on the flop, and it took like it took like 900,000 off of me, so I had like 150,000 left in chips, and then the next hand, everybody folds. I'm on the button, so it's just the big small blind left, and 100,000 is like really low to the big blind at this point. So I just go all in with king something suited, and this guy calls because I have 40. I have like $50 on on bounty on my head. And
Yeah.
so he just calls no matter what. Like that's what I was doing. That's how I was like just piling shit up. And then when you pile shit up, it's easy to call other people because you have chips to spend. And so that's how like people don't know how to play the game. Like you have like as soon as you have the hand, get your ass all in. Like it's not like a normal poker setting tournament. And anyways, so he calls me, and so when he knocks me out, he immediately got $25 into his account, and then $25 went on top of his head. So
Yeah.
imagine like if I made it. I mean, there was only 60 people left out of the 400 when I got knocked out. And I had all the bounties. Nobody was even close. That's the thing. I had gotten like fourth place in one of the bounty tournaments, and the three other guys at the final table with me had like no money in bounties. It was like not even worth it. I already took all of them, but it was worth it only to keep what I had already taken. Like not to take theirs. But so then somebody gets to cash whatever I took because they knocked me out in fourth place.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
So we just chilled out in the car for a long time while she passed out.
Touche.
Yeah. I want to just give a shout out. Biden won by 80% of the vote. Trump only 60 out here in Michigan. Not out here.
I was like, damn, live from Michigan.
Yeah, bro. Detroit.
Live from the Silver Dome.
Yeah, dude. Mouse in the palace up in this bitch.
For sure. Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
They're like, oh, Trump's like winning, beating, it's like Biden's like, and they're like, it's so insane how the news spins like this shit. Trump's just winning like by 67%. Holy shit. Oh, there's a protest vote of not committed. That like all these people are protesting against Biden because of the Gaza war, and it's like, okay, but he's winning by 80. When the equivalent to this, like the apples to apples, would be when Obama was running for re-election 2012 in Michigan. He got 10% of the people voted not committed.
Yeah, I mean, what they've been saying is that when they do these polls, that there's like a large percentage. I mean, I've heard anywhere from 25 to 30% of Nikki Haley voters who's still turning out. She's not beating Trump, so she's not going to win a state. She's staying in it till the very end, for whatever purpose you could say. I mean, some people say that she thinks she's doing the right thing by giving people an alternative option, or maybe she'll end up running third party, or whatever. There's a group of people that say if Trump wins the nomination, and they are Nikki Haley voters now, that they're not voting for Trump at all. Some of them say they're.
That's actually that is 60% of it's how about this? The over-under on that is 50% of Nikki Haley voters say they will not vote for Trump. So if she's getting 30% of the vote, that's 15% of the total Republicans that are voting that say they will not vote for Trump. Last time I checked,
that's devastating.
Yeah,
that'd be a devastating
last time I checked,
blow.
This shit is like on the even though Biden beat him by like 11 million fucking votes or 7 million, it was 11 million between Clinton and him combined. But 7 million votes, it was like, they say it was like down to like 100,000 people or 70,000 people in 3 states. You can't lose 15% of your fucking party and win unless you're bringing out 16% new voters.
When they're not, that's the whole thing. Is like they don't really create
or preventing 16% of
create new voters.
Yeah, not creating, like eliminating other voters.
Yeah,
they're trying it from all sides.
Yeah, but I mean,
fake electors,
hyping up. Well, and there's a lot of people who say that are just Republicans who say that if Trump is convicted of a crime, they're not going to vote for him. How true that is, we'll see.
Oh, I mean, that's so weird. It's like
because then he would have been convicted. There's a lot of I know people like this. I understand the rationale behind it because you got to remember
that he's a convicted rapist. Was that not enough?
Hold on, but. This is what I'm saying, is when it comes to him being president, because there's a lot of these people in their older generation who they've known Trump longer than us. They've known different versions of Trump. They know Casino Trump. This is what I'm saying, is there's a group of people that have been fooled by this guy for fucking decades. A lot of us have always thought he was kind of a schmuck, kind of a tool. I remember him in Home Alone 2. Other than that, I was like, this guy's goofy and his hair looks stupid. And he talks goofy. That's all I ever thought. But there's a group of people who are like, well, he hasn't been convicted of any of these crimes. Now, if he's convicted, then okay. But until he is tried and convicted, he's not a criminal. There's people who are literally like, no, that person's not a criminal because they weren't found guilty. Well, in the civil case, yes, he's been found guilty of tons of crimes throughout his life.
Right.
lots of crimes. But they're talking about when he was president, stuff he was doing. There's a group of people who won't vote for him if he's actually found guilty of a crime, because they take that shit so literal, like in an obnoxious way. It's like arguing with that one guy who just is always.
I guarantee you, they're gonna be real flexible on that principle of theirs, just like they've fucking been
some
flexible.
Of these people are people
like,
who've never voted, though. So I know people who've never voted who like Trump. But they don't vote.
Dude, all these fucking people said that they were fiscal conservatives like 6 years ago, or not 6 years ago, like 9 years ago. They're like fiscal conservative Tea Party tea baggers. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then Trump's like, yo, let's throw $4 trillion on the debt, give a tax break to the fucking trillionaires. Like, and they're like, yeah. And he's like, yeah. And like, let's put a 60% tariff on Chinese good, which is just a 60% tax on Americans. Yeah, taxes are great. You know, it's like, it doesn't, you know, and then he's like an isolationist. Let's be friends with Russia. Yeah, this is the party of Reagan, like, who called Russia an evil empire and shit.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm saying that there's some people who don't, there's people who refuse to watch the news.
You think that, but then they're gonna compromise. It's just one other.
No, I know. I genuinely know people who like have never voted, who are like in their 40s, 50s, 60s, never voted. Don't believe it, and they like Trump because they're like, no, Trump like knows what the fuck he's doing. They make excuses. I've had arguments with these people, but these are people who are misinformed and don't pay attention to a lot of stuff, so they don't know that Trump, like, whenever he was on the campaign trail, mocked a handicap reporter. They'd never seen that clip, because if you can still be that detached from that stuff, and those are a lot of those people are like, well, hey, okay, if he hasn't done anything and he hasn't been convicted of anything, then I'm not sure. Then I can't say that he's actually a criminal until he's actually proven a criminal, which is an obnoxious rationale.
I think we should take those people's ability to vote away.
Well, they don't exercise it, but I mean, I know people
as
like
they
this.
should not.
But what I am saying is that that's an obnoxious level of, like, that's like semantics, right? So it's like arguing semantics, and
that's an asshole.
But in turn, they aren't. It's like you're not incorrect, but you're also like totally a dick because you're incorrect.
No, it's like Trump has disqualified himself regardless of the crimes.
Oh no, definitely, he's done multiple things.
So the whole thing is like dumb, anyways. Like, doesn't even matter if he committed a crime. This guy's incapable, and a danger to himself and humanity. Listen to this. This guy. Is like on online poker. I was in a tournament a couple days ago, and it's like his screen name is like Swoop Fur FUR and Cash or something like that. I don't know what it is, but he remembered me from a time before. He goes, "Hey, Mr. Mr. Goody, aren't you that libtard millennial that's like the head of Antifa?" And I was like, that's right. That's me. You're welcome. Or I forget what and then like, and then he's like, oh, I thought so, man. And then he would like the whole table gets into a discussion about like Trump and like all this shit, and like they're trying to make fun of me, and I'm just like owning them like over and over. Like some guys like, Trump, man, he's just he's a truth teller. I was like, literally lies more than anyone ever. And then like there's one guy who said he hated Trump, and he just like was like, he was like starts like laughing. He's like, oh my god, that is true. That he that
well,
he's,
but
like,
I mean,
the opposite of a truth teller.
But whenever you're arguing, like the facts with some of them the facts don't matter. That's the whole point.
Right.
Is
But
like
then I found out though,
facts.
Yeah, that the poker site, like it will bleep out like curse words, and so like people like have to like try really hard to call me the worst F word,
Yeah.
like, but they do it. Oh, they do it. Like they're like savants at getting out like homophobic slurs and racist slurs, like just all sorts of creative ways, dude. It's like by bleeping it just made them more like hardcore racist.
Yeah, it made them double down.
Oh yeah, now they're like putting up gang signs and like of racism.
It's like
they're graffitiing.
It's like whenever they had the U-boats and they had those Enigma coding machines the Nazis did, and we couldn't crack it, and then it was like, all right, we
until
had to
we
go
did.
until we did, and then we had like Navajo like coming up with codes that nobody could figure the fuck out.
And then now look at us, dude.
They're on their you got racists on their
Nazis.
You got racists on their Navajo code shit and poker chat rooms, just like just in there. Like, I fucking call you, mother. Oh, you piece of shit!
They're getting Babel and
and
Rosetta Stone.
To
learn different languages to up their racism.
Talking shit to you in Blackfoot. You're like, what the fuck?
Well, that does happen though. Like, people in the chat will just hit you with like either like Arabic or like letters and like just a whole fucking thing, or like just a different language, and I'm just like, I don't know what that is. You know, it's like, and I'm not trying to be racist. I was like.
You got to get translators.
Like, I don't know if you're talking shit or if you're like just saying something normal, you know. But I own the libtard millennial thing, and like a couple funny things from it, like because like we were in a tournament and we were like all of us like we're kind of like hanging in there, like somebody like a new person would come in and like somebody would take their chips and another one came in, you know. But it was like the same core, like 6-7 guys, and like so this conversation kept going on. So he's like, so why are you and like your Antifa guys like always wearing masks when you're out there? And I was like, because of COVID. And he's like, oh my God, dude, you libtard. And I was like, I knew you liked that one. He's like, I'm not vaccinated. I was like, oh, no shit. Yeah, I was like, you don't say. And like, but yeah, so what I was bringing up about the bleeping, they bleep MAGA. So you can't say MAGA because I was like trying to explain to him like about MAGA Mike Johnson.
I bet you people spam it. I bet people would spam that shit. So that's why they blocked it.
I mean, in my golf game that I play, like all the screen names and like the clans are all like Trump shit and MAGA shit. But anyway, so the reason why that I found that out was because he was like still like talking shit to me, and I just go. I was like, dude, like, shouldn't you be out like burning or banning a book somewhere? And he goes, only the porn in elementary schools. And I was like, oh yeah, like, he goes, I was like, yeah, like just like MAGA Mike Johnson, you know, just like watches his son's porn instead, right? But then the MAGA thing got blocked. But then he goes, the only porn I had in my elementary school was National Geographic. And it was awesome. He's like,
Jesus.
He's like the African saggy titties, and I was like,
gross.
I was like, here we go. I was like, here we go. You're revealing yourself. This guy's like a racist MAGA dude because he loves the Wesley Snipes dark black women, and he just can't stand it. It's like how like a gay guy is like homophobic, you know, because he hates himself, like, you know, because he can't just like come to terms with it. This is what this guy is. It's like he just like loves the sisters.
Well, oh yeah, dude. I mean, but that's like that's been a thing. That's a whole that generation.
But that's what that is.
I see a lot in my line of work. I see a lot of older conservative white dudes, some married, some not, out with like 22-year-old young, like,
yeah, we're talking about
sisters,
you, Bobby De Niro,
like ethnic girls, and these guys are like, sometimes they're like straight up in Trump shirts, and I'm like, what is going on? It's like mind blowing. It's like it's trippy. Yeah.
So he said that, and then I was like, God damn. And then the other thing was he goes, he said something. He was like, yeah, my generation. Like he said that that I wouldn't be able to live in any other country because I got him to agree. I was like, he's like, you guys are trying to say that making America great again is like a bad thing. I was like, it's always been a bad thing. America is great. Trump hates this country and just thinks it has to be great again. It's already great. And the guy was like, I know, it's the best country on earth. And I was like, I know. And then he's like, and then he goes, plus you millennial libtards couldn't live anywhere else and like be safe. And I was like, true. I was like, maybe Ireland. And then he's like, nope, here. And then I was like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, my generation fucked that up for y'all. And I was like, yeah, what else is new? You know?
True.
So there's a lot of introspection here.
Well,
And then he asked me where I was Antifaing, at what state, and I said the great nation state of California. And he goes, "Oh yeah, me too. I live in Laguna Beach."
Nice. Of course he does.
Yeah. He goes, "And we don't let any of that Antifa shit go down here, man. Like they tried to do that in Huntington, and they got their butts kicked." And I was like, "Yeah, well, Huntington's full of meth heads and skinheads. So there we go."
Yeah. Is it really?
Yeah. Like my aunt, uncle, and my cousins grew up there, and it was a little bit nicer, but it's like a sketchy surf town now. I mean, there is like nice parts, but like Laguna is like the rich part. Newport Beach is next, and that's like rich shit.
Yeah.
Like where Kobe, yeah. Huntington was like, it's like where the U.S. Open of surfing is every year. It's like a cool ass spot, but kind of little like metal militia. You know what that is?
What is metal militia?
Metal militia is like a whole style of like it's like it would be like a style of a guy out here. Like in the South, frat bros wear like khakis and polos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so think of like that whole concept, but the metal militia, they are all from the Inland Empire, as they say. So that's kind of like Riverside.
Okay.
In Fullerton.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Adam Carolla would say, you just got to drop a nuke on Riverside and the world would be better off. That's Adam Carolla said that. I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Send your hate mail, Metal Militia, to the black co-hosts. No. So these guys are. So they all wear their hats forward, and it's straight. They all have They have shorts on with high socks.
Yeah.
And Vans.
Okay.
And then they all like ride like dirt bikes, and then they have like these like black sunglasses,
Lokes?
Yeah, it's just this look.
And
they drive like trucks and shit.
Let's check it out. And they're just like, what?
They're from they're
like Proud Boys? Or they're
like from
they're Proud Boys.
Proud Boys.
But would the Proud Boys hang out with them?
No, I don't know, because like I feel like probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's probably some Proud Boy mixture in there.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know too much about like the politics of the metal militia, because all I know is like when you see it, you're like it's so weird how, because like when I went to San Diego State, so like my like first friend there was like from that area, so like I was like, what? This is a thing. And then throughout like my life here in California, everybody that I've ever been with, when I point it out, knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh wow, this is like a thing. They look like they're all dirt biker dudes.
Yeah.
Metal militia,
there's a lot of like
bandit
TJ
skulls.
Lavins, but they're not TJ Lavin.
MULISHA. Militia, but it's not like militia. Like, dude, these guys are crazy.
Yeah, they can't spell, dude. They're illiterate. That's right, Metal Militia. Come at me.
Does Metal Militia still exist?
So, but anyways, I think like Huntington has a lot of vibes like that.
Okay, interesting. With like the skull with the helmet on it. It's got some
little biker shit.
Some little Nazi too.
In Huntington. I don't know about the Metal Militia.
It's a little concerning, but I've never seen that before.
Yeah, bro. They're out here.
They're out here deep, dude. Well, please don't send your hate mail. I'm not going to shout you out.
Your hate crime mail.
I'm going to have to like watch some YouTube documentary on them.
I don't think there is.
They
don't do anything.
I have a story to tell, but it's not resolved. So hopefully by the next episode I can discuss it. But I don't know if I'm freely able to discuss this thing over public airways until it's resolved. That might not be the best decision for me.
Well, lucky for you, we're not on public airwaves.
Well, I mean, maybe just not broadcasting out. But what I would say is
terrestrial.
Some people who are located somewhere have been trying to mess around. About to find out. Because you know what? I'm a black guy from South Lake, and that's how that works. There you go. Let's just say I understand the system, I know how the system works. I got you.
Wow.
No, I mean, there's
what a
just,
teaser.
I mean, you know,
Dark alert. Dark.
no,
Everybody
not dark. Just
the
you know,
black man.
what I just say is
South,
like leave people alone. Like leave people alone. And I don't know if I told the story about what I saw, but let's just say keep it light. Like I was interacting in the world, and I witnessed somebody abusing their dog in a public space.
You said that on air.
I did tell that story on air a couple of weeks ago. Oh well, let's just say,
in great detail.
where I like confronted this person and was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
Well, let's just say that those people have taken a liking to following me around from time to time when I'm out and about walking my dogs. So let's just say that that's been an interesting thing. Oh yeah, but you know.
So it really is darkness. This is black on black crime.
It's super goofy, the whole situation, but it's being like I've already because I filed a complaint whenever I witnessed it happen. I've already filed 2 other complaints since. But yeah, it's like super goofy shit. It doesn't make any sense. Like the whole situation's dumb. And let's just say that like emotional control reigns supreme. It's not smart to be following people around or attempting to follow people around. Like it's just not. There's certain things that, you know, if you choose to do stupid stuff like that, like it's not. Like I said, I understand how the system works. So, but yeah, isn't that goofy? Isn't that fucking goofy?
Dude, do you need me to just hop in a car and
No, I mean it's gonna be. It's
questions?
not. Honestly, I think it's a big misunderstanding. I'm assuming that this person that was caught abusing their dog in a public space in front of multiple people is nervous about what potentially I could have done or what I could have said about that. So, and you know, there was nothing. I did file a complaint to let them know, but I didn't know I don't know where they live. I don't know who they are. I know they're somewhere in close proximity to me, but I filed a complaint with somebody who might, if I described them and told them what I saw and told them the dog and where I thought they came from, and it was, you know, but that's it. And I was like, hey, but if I see something like this again, I'm going to call the fucking cops. Like, I can't knowingly watch that. I mean, weeks before that, I talked about running out into the fucking highway to save a dog that got hit by a car. It's like, I fucking love animals, and I love dogs, love any of them. And like, if you're abusing, like there's a bunch of sick people in this world, and some of the sickest people are people who abuse like children, elderly people, defenseless animals. There's something wrong with that, right? And so filed my complaint, but that left it at that. And now I haven't really haven't seen them since, although I've noticed a pattern of if I do walk by a certain area, sometimes they pop out shortly after I do. And sometimes it's one person, sometimes it's 3 people. And then if you decide to like get in your car and follow me down the street, then I'm at the liberty, and you're dumb enough to like let me get your plate and let me like see your car, and you like drive around in a circle, like now I know for sure, and like they definitely know, like it's like, what are you doing? And I do think that whoever that person was who was doing that is freaked out and worried they're going to get in trouble with whoever because of what they were doing, and so therefore I think that they've created some story.
They're spiraling.
Yeah, I think they're spiraling because
they're manifesting
like so now if we
it's like they're panicking.
So I think that there's going to be some sort of conversation between me and this party and another third party at some point to resolve this situation. But like, I'm pretty sure there's cameras up front. I'm pretty sure, like, and if you don't think I didn't file a report with like, there's multiple ways that a person can file a report when you're following them around. Like, I did that shit instantly. Like, you're not going to follow me around at night, do goofy shit like that. Like, if I was in my...
What do you think the point is?
To try to either be intimidating...
Intimidating you to what?
Or, I don't know. Or trying to see, like, what I drive or where I'm located, because they don't know where I'm located. It's a two-way street. I don't know where... But I'm pretty sure I know. Like, it's pretty obvious where y'all are. And as I've walked, I'm like, I just roam. So, but whenever we have cross paths, I make a point to not make the normal way that I would go. I go some goofy ass roundabout way. I mean, come on, dude. We grew up in South. Like you hop three fences. You're in hop three fences. You're 5 miles away. You have to go through 10 stop signs because I'm just gonna hop this fence and I'm gone, bro. So like I've made a point to be confusing and to be cryptic, so where there's no way, and
so now we have the black guy out here being cryptic because
I'm just know that
you're worried about these other people.
I got 3 or 4 people following. Yeah, it's goofy, right?
It's like some Ahmaud Arbery shit, man.
So. And I mean, like full blown, like driving around with their bonnet on, like it was goofy as shit, bro.
Dude, and what did you say? What did you say?
Didn't say a word. Didn't say.
No, you said upon a they had line of bonnet.
I didn't. Well, but the thing is, I didn't say a word. I just kept walking. But like, I mean, it's like, dude, just fuck off. Like, and that's where I'm like, whoever, like, you're going to make this worse for yourself. And like, strictly, like, it was like, hey, I leave them alone, mind my own business, no big deal. But now you're following me. Then after you followed me on foot and I went back into the complex, you got in your car and drove around the complex to try to continue to follow me and find me. That's like right there, you fucked up. Right there, you're instantly in the wrong. Doesn't matter.
What if they just think you're the plug?
No, and then
why does he keep leaving? Like we just want
no, and I mean that's just no, because there's no reason.
I'm
yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Because this is at like 9 o'clock at night when I'm walking the dog, and also it's like. Topanga's not the biggest dog in the world. Topanga has killed multiple skunks and raccoons and squirrels, and Topanga's like a dwarf German Shepherd, so she's not like some little bitch dog. Topanga would fuck somebody up. Like I would say, and your dog's like 10 pounds. That's why whoever that boy was slinging it around in the air like it was a fucking tetherball. So like if you like, I'm like, dude, like I don't even know your apartment number. I wasn't gonna say anything. But now, like, I hope I cross paths with whoever is in charge of what you got going on at your place, because we'll have that conversation. And if she doesn't believe me, that's fine. There's already been multiple complaints. I already have, like, the paper trail laid out, because that's what you were doing. And other people saw you do it. And it's in the vicinity of a camera. So now you're trying to lie about it when nobody said anything to her in the first place. So you're just, like, spinning the fuck out. You're spinning. And it's weird. And then for you as a family to try to get in the car and follow me around, because not everybody in that car was probably like above the age of 18, so it's like a family affair, like stalking people in the complex.
Who knows what he told them
exactly. Who knows? And that's where it's just like nah. So instantly I'm like, I'm not gonna be nervous walking around where I live because some little punk ass who's abusing their dog, where it's like, and it's like when I talk to them, they instantly know I didn't know who I was talking about. They instantly knew who I was talking about. So it's not like it's a mystery that there's something going on over there. And now you're following.
The police did?
No, the people who are in charge of where I'm located.
I got you.
They were instantly fully aware.
CIA.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the Interpol instantly knew. They, hot is pinged, right? Put him in codex, popped up. But no, I mean, and then, like I'm saying, is, and whatever. Like, if you wanted to have a conversation, if you wanted to confront me about it, say, like, hey, but to be walking around and not say anything in the shadows, like this is like Lord of the Rings or some shit, bro, like, you're, like, that's not, I would stop. Like, that's not going to go well. I mean, I don't know who you are, what y'all are like, but I saw the shadows that were lurking, and they weren't that intimidating. Shadows, like I'm saying, like I'd fuck off, like whatever.
Bro, you're like Dak Prescott seeing shadows. No, seeing ghosts. That's what Dak Prescott sees.
It's really weird because
you're a Shaolin shadow boxer,
and that's where you're like dude worried that somebody knows he's out there beating this dog and then somebody's gonna catch him, and now you're making yourself get caught. Goofy, bro, goofy. That's like wild. That's like being an arsonist and showing back up at the fire. Like,
well, that's what they do.
Man, I know. Man, crazy fire, huh? It's pretty big. Didn't I see? And somebody's like, that's the guy. That's the guy I saw over here like 45 minutes ago fucking with that dumpster.
That's just Donald Trump, bro.
Like, hey, put your hands behind your back. pretty fire, huh? Like, that's the same shit. Like, what are you doing? So we'll see. I'll have a story for it resolved. I know we've been rambling for a bit about nothing on this pod, but it was super weird, super sketchy, and that was like 2 days ago. So it's like alternative route to take the puppers to like just actively avoiding the situation, which is what I had been doing. But you don't get to follow me around. That's fucking weird. And that's where it's like I ain't afraid to call the cops. No, I'm not afraid to. If you're gonna be following me around and trying to be intimidating and be threatening, I'm gonna let people aware of that. So if you're planning to do something or going to do something, people are already aware of it. That's a proper use of the system. Not trying,
but also like, follow, and smash that subscribe button for the pod. Definitely follow the pod.
Oh,
just
definitely.
Not Joseph. Just not Joseph on the streets.
Yeah. Follow the pod. Follow the pod. All's forgiven. Follow the pod. All's forgiven.
And by the claps, I mean applause or chlamydia.
Gross.
Sorry.
Therapy questions?
Have you heard this theory, real quick?
What?
That Trump got chlamydia back in the 80s or something, and like untreated.
That's why his hands have the sores on his hands. Is that what you're talking about? I've seen that one.
That apparently untreated chlamydia leads to like insanity, or like you become psychotic, or dementia or something. I don't know. I'm just out here spreading conspiracy theories, y'all.
No, I wouldn't believe that because he has kids. So Melania is just like, oh yeah, like this crazy man with the claps gonna like knock me up with this giant man.
She's used to it, man. She's Russian. She's a Putin asset. He hates immigrants, you know, and he's not in tight with the Russians, but all of his wives are Russian immigrants.
That's true. That's true.
Nobody saw it coming.
Nobody put that together. Nobody drew that red line on the chart.
Putin's like, here,
it's right in front of us.
Go get him.
The Moscow wives.
Remember when she wore that jacket that said like,
I don't really care about you.
Yeah, it just came out that was about Ivanka Trump, not about the children that she was visiting or whatever the like controversy was.
Yeah, either way, it's tacky as fuck.
Yeah, what else is now?
Because whenever really rich people,
chandeliers in the bathroom at her house.
When really rich people try to prove a point or like make some political statement, it's always fucking tacky. It's never tasteful. Like think about all these Trumpers and with their big fucking trucks that are wrapped in eagle shit. All that stuff costs so much fucking money. So much money. And they're so tacky about it. And you can make the same case about the left. There's people on the left that don't
talk about my Prius like that, bro.
That some people can be fucking tacky on the left and how they choose to show their support. And the more rich, the more tacky, because you have the ability to express yourself more because you have the
rainbow flags.
Because you have but I'm not saying that. I'm not saying. Well, yeah, I'll bet you there's somebody who's got their whole sidewalk just covered in loose glitter. So a whole neighborhood is tracking glitter in their house. That's ignorant.
The herpes of the arts and crafts game.
Quit putting glitter in.
Speaking of the clap, untreated. Therapy question number 1, Joseph.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a map that shows you the location of anything you want to find and can take you there, or a key that can open any lock, no matter what it is?
See, I've thought about this because there's like a split off.
For how long? I just put it in there.
Well, since I saw it, because I saw you typing it, so I was changing.
I immediately fell asleep like right after that, but this time I set an alarm.
Well, no, you didn't. Did you change them? Because I didn't see you change them last time. I was sitting there and they never changed. Today I saw you change them. Whenever I opened it up and I was changing some of the articles.
I saw you working on some shit. Don't act like you saw me. I saw you.
We saw each other at the same time.
Up in the dock. Anyways, go ahead.
But I've thought about this because in another universe, I hope I'm a criminal mastermind and planning big like Ocean's 11 heists. And I've thought about this. So a key that could open any lock, no matter what it is, would be pretty powerful. That would give you the ability to unlock anything that you would want to unlock. Now that would mostly be for like nefarious acts. Because most of the time, if you have that, like a master key, like a janitor has a master key because he has to open doors to get into shit, right? If we had a skeleton key, which I had one back in the day, ripped one, if you were able to get your hands on one, why would I want to open every single door that has a lock in the school? To fuck around and do stupid shit, right? So that, while that would be a powerful tool, it
to
also
have sex with a teacher.
it'd also be harder to use because you'd still have to make it to the lock to be able to unlock it. So that would be a little difficult.
Wait, say that again?
You'd have to be able to get to the lock you wanted to unlock in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
So that would make it difficult, there'd be a lot. But now, a map that shows you the location of anything you want to find would be fucking awesome, dude. You would be Indiana fucking Jones. You want to go find where whatever mountain. So there's this whole theory. I think it's real, but there's
ancient alien astronauts.
No, ancient Nazi historians believe that there's like a train that's loaded full of gold and loaded full of shit that they tried to like take off and hide, and it's buried in some mountain somewhere in like a train track or old train thing that they've like caved in, and no one can find it. People have like died looking for it. They've spent decades looking for this thing, but it's apparently like tons of this treasure that they've like priceless pieces of art, pieces of like sculptures and stuff that have been missing, like all this stuff that they pilfered, because everywhere they raided they stole a bunch of shit. They took shit from museums.
That doesn't sound like the Nazis.
They took everything, and so apparently there's this whole gold train that's hidden somewhere. That if it exists, I could want to go find it, and it would take me to it, and I'd be the dude that would discover it. You wouldn't get all the gold because it's Nazi gold, but you might be able to take a couple paintings, maybe, depending on who owned them before.
What? Are you now a Nazi? Are you propagating?
No, I'm just saying you get all the credit for finding something that you would solve a myth, right? If there was a city of gold, you could find it. If there was
hold on real quick. So you said they put it in the mountain to hide it?
Terrible. If there was some buried UFO somewhere, it would take you to it. So you could find anything you wanted. You'd be like fucking Indiana Jones.
Okay, so what if there wasn't?
Or you'd be like
I guess then you would know.
Or you'd be like Matthew McConaughey in that movie where he's like searching for treasure and doesn't wear a shirt the whole time. I can't remember who's in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Some stupid movie. You could literally go like search for the.
We've talked about this movie.
Yeah, because I'm either a criminal mastermind or I want to be Indiana Jones. I'm very 7-year-old boy and what like I would want to do an alternate.
Bury a 7-year-old boy?
No, I have the heroes.
So then you could go find.
If I could pick an occupation, you could be anything you'd want. I'd be like Indiana Jones. I'd pick something that like. Anybody that I would have picked when I was like 10.
Is that just because
I thought that was
attracted to Harrison Ford as a child?
No, because Harrison Ford
was it the one earring?
No, it's the gun. His gun was badass. And Millennium Falcon. If you could be Harrison Ford and you could be Han Solo, fuck yeah. I'd probably rather be a different Star Wars character, but that wouldn't be a bad one.
Yeah. Wasn't really into Star Wars.
Weren't? See, I was.
Well, I read the books because I'm smart.
See, I remember Star Wars.
They relaunched it, not like the Phantom Menace, but they like put the old ones back in theaters. And
yeah,
I was in Boy Scouts at the time, and we went and saw it. But it felt like everybody already had a reference to it. We were still like pretty young.
Yeah.
But like that was like the first time I even knew anything about it. But I was reading the books. But the books, they have so many books that are just like.
Canon.
It's like fan fiction.
Yeah, fan fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so whenever I was a kid with the divorce, shout out parents. Great job. They're getting a round of applause right now.
About the divorce?
Yeah, just, good job.
Adopting kids to get into divorce.
But,
hold on, quick. 5 states. You, if you're pregnant, you can't get divorced.
Oh, I know. I saw it in Texas is one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
My dad, we would spend weekends with my dad, so he got me into like Indiana Jones and Star Wars. So we would like watch those. We'd rent one because my sisters wanted to watch whatever. They're like, we want to watch Babysitter's Club or some bullshit. But my dad would watch. He'd be like, all right, we're gonna watch Star Wars. This is the first one, and so we watched it. And it was just me and him. And then we watched the next weekend. We watched the second one, the third one, and then we actually went for my birthday party. My dad took, shout out dad, me, Drobekistan, and a whole squad of the homies to go see Star Wars, and they re-released it in the theater for my birthday. Went to CC's, gang, and then we went to Tinseltown.
Is that when you got kicked out of CC's?
No, this is way before. This is before. I definitely wasn't like high and accused of stealing pizza. This I was just like a happy kid who just got a Nintendo 64 and was happy as fuck. And then then we went and we saw Star Wars, and Drobekistan was there. He was at the party, dog. That's old school.
Nice.
So the OG old man Huggie took Drobekistan to Star Wars to see it in the movie theater for the first time. Shout out, Dad. Shout out, Dad. Right? That's right. Shout out, Dad. That's tight. I haven't even thought about that till then. Because think about it, that might have been the first time Sean had seen Star Wars. I doubt it, but maybe,
probably not.
But maybe it was.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, dude was like, just movies and music was like.
Yeah, that's true. Facts. Big facts.
Bequeathed upon him.
Yeah.
But maybe. I mean, we were still really young because I obviously saw it at the theater.
Fourth grade. That was fourth grade.
Yeah. I was going to say fourth grade because I was at Boy Scouts and I was still in California and I moved out to Texas middle of fifth grade. All right. Well, third question number 2. Well, hold on. Which one did you pick?
I'd probably take the map. The key would be good, but the map would be better because I could try to find my way in.
The key? Because I have the key to her heart.
Stupid.
You know what I'm saying?
Therapy question number 2.
Therapy question number 2. Would you rather lose all of your money and valuables or all of the pictures you have ever taken? Like a ghost.
I mean, I wouldn't want to say I'd want to lose all of the pictures that I have.
Yeah, but we're gonna take your fucking car.
But it's like if I'm at,
Bro.
No, I know, but like what I'm saying is like let's say I go to like a concert. I'm not one of those people who like takes a shit ton of pictures at concerts. I like enjoy
stupid.
Yeah, so that's where it's like I'd probably keep all my shit and lose my pictures and just start fresh. Be like, all right.
Baby pictures.
Yeah, that's fine.
Dude.
I don't have those. Those aren't even mine.
Of course that's the way you do it. Because you're just wiped off the internet now. All of a sudden, you're the only dude who doesn't have a fucking thumbprint anywhere in the system in the entire world. What?
Your mugshots are gone.
Dude, I'm spying for everybody. I got passports on passports on passports. You can't credit cards, social security numbers. Like, are you fucking kidding? How many just identities?
I'd be careful talking like that. We know somebody who got their asses in trouble.
I know, but they didn't have their entire identity erased.
Definitely
it's not like
didn't.
It's not like it's like yeah, it definitely didn't. It's not like
that shit's wild.
Because it's like this question. It's not like, well, what if it's somewhere? It's like for a fact it's nowhere. You're starting fresh. Yeah. You just have to hit it really, really hard, quickly, and then you can just coast on one. You only have a bunch of backups just in case.
Well, you don't need 44.
No, you don't. But
that's a lot.
But you know what? It's like getting eggs or embryos. You know, you got to harvest them while you can.
So you're gonna
run out of the ability.
So you would keep all of your money and valuables. You would be erased digitally and entirely off of the planet, and then you would set up and start skimming cards and credit card scamming and become
in a week hackathon.
You
would have to, because as soon as you start doing shit, then you're building an identity. You know.
No.
Like it's a melting ice cream cone, and
but you could make multiple identities.
You would have. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Yeah, because this is your shot. You're the only guy who gets to do this. So, do it slowly.
Like Catch Me If You Can or some shit.
Right.
All right. Well, we agree.
Just kidding. I'm broke. Take my valuables. Heh.
But I need this picture.
Yeah. Shit, I was a good-looking baby. Therapy question number 3.
Facts.
And also all the porn I've done, all the live streams.
All the porn and live streams. Yeah, the cam
OnlyFans.
The cam boy work.
Come on.
Yeah,
Therapy question number 3.
You need to escape that.
Yeah. I'll blink twice if I need help. Would you rather be able to make any imaginary thing become reality by drawing it, or make any real thing disappear by drawing and erasing it?
I wouldn't want to do the erasing. I'd rather be able to create shit than erase shit. Erasing shit would be cool because you could like draw whatever and like, nah, I'd rather be able to make any imaginary thing I want to become a reality by drawing it. So that's money. That's my new house. That's the Lambo. That's the helicopter with wheels. The helicopter car, dog. That's like whatever I want.
In your mind, addition is better than subtraction.
Yeah, I think that's too much power. I think that being able to
too much power. It's just better to be able to add shit.
Yeah, but also shit. Like we could be really pissed, and I could draw you and erase you, and you go away, and then I'd feel bad about it later. There's an ability to be impulsive by drawing and erasing that might have a greater impact than one would realize, right?
No, I would just immediately hate myself because I'd be like, oh, I picked a race, so I can't draw money. I fucked up immediately.
But you could do stuff like draw the bank vault door and erase it.
That's now I got to work. Now I got manual labor.
Yeah, you got to think outside the box. Then you could.
No, dude. Like
the sketch robbers.
What is the problem that everybody?
I'll be here. That's your code name, bro. Etch-a-sketch. That's what they call you. Etch-a-sketch strikes again. You out there? We found another notepad of doodles and 2 sticks of charcoal. This bitch at it again, dude. That's what's happening, bro. Let's go. Welcome to the team.
Well,
Huggie's 14.
Why 14?
Because there's 14 of us, like Ocean's 8, Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, whatever. Fuck, we got 14 now. We got 14 people because we got 2 drivers, one for me, one for you. It was 12, but you know what I'm saying. I don't like driving. I get tired.
Okay, I'm in.
Let's go, Etch-a-Sketch. Get your little doodle book and let's go, bitch.
Okay, another quick poker story in person. On Saturday, I went to my boy Adam Finkel's 40th birthday party at Lucky Strike, which is a bowling alley restaurant arcade. It's like kind of like a higher class, like an elevated bowling alley, as I would say.
Yeah, there's tons of those things. Yeah,
yeah. There's like one in LA right next to the Staples Center. And so this is like the same franchise. So we go to that. I was DDing for the Iron Ape. I drop him back off at his pad, and his pad's like 20 minutes from the poker room. So I go and I put down $60, and I put down $55, and I was playing for a while. Doesn't like I go all in with ace jack. This guy calls with queen 4, catches a queen. So I go out and I smoke some weed, and then I go start walking back up the stairs, and there's like this dealer. His name's Hong. He's like this it's like super big, like looks like an offensive lineman, like a Chinese guy, who's like our age. And I'm like, and he smokes cigarettes, so he was just smoking one. So I'm walking side by side up the stairs, and I'm like, Wong, I'm about to go on a heater right now. I'm about to quadruple up. And it's like 2 a.m. And they say they close at 3, but it's usually, it's almost every time it's at 2:45. So I'm only going to cash in 60. But when I get up there, all the tables had broken except for there's one last table. And there's 2 guys on the waiting list. So now I'm the 3rd guy on the waiting list. and there's only one table left, and there's only 45 minutes left. So then I'm just sitting there waiting, and then a couple guys, in front of me go, but then now it's like, but it actually goes quicker than I realized. It just seems like it's taking forever. But so I sit down at 2:15. Hong is now comes in as the dealer, so he's gonna close out the table. The same dealer that I just told him I'm gonna go on a heater, and this guy, fucking, I buy him $60, and dude, it was insane. So 2:45 comes, and it's the last hand of the day of the night, and I've already turned the $60 into like 240, the official quadruple that I called my shot. Well, it's like the last hand of the night, and everybody on the last hand always wants to do a bomb pot, which is everybody puts in. So it always starts off with everybody want to put in $20, and I'm like, those people don't even want to do it. Blah blah blah. We always get down to everybody puts in $5, and then all the cards are dealt. Then it goes to the flop, and then you can start betting. So there's just, it's like basically an ante of $5 each.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I've never won a bomb pot, but whatever. Like I've got 4 times as much money as I had in 30 minutes. So I did that, and Hong deals me a fucking straight, like on the flop. So guy before me goes all in, or like goes in like a lot. I go all in. The guy after me was like, "What? Fuck this! I call." And then I was like, this is crazy. Everybody's looking like, this is crazy. And I'm like, dude, like he dealt me a straight, and I just like throw it out there. And before Hong deals the next 2 cards, he looks at me. He goes, "You like bomb pot now? You like bomb pot now?" And I was like, and then and then I won it, and I just cast. I got it all in together. So all together, it was I gave Hong a big ass tip. Because like on that hand.
Yeah.
But after tipping everything all aside, walked out $450.
Damn.
In 30 minutes.
Damn.
Well, so 390 profit.
Damn.
Plus the 60 back.
Nice. Hell yeah. Touche.
That was a 7 set couple.
I like your style.
You like bomb pot now?
No, that's awesome.
Fuck yeah, I do.
Called you out, dude.
It was so funny because like I thought he was like asking me something about like my chips, like because he was like waiting to deal the turn in the river, and he was like staring at me in the eyes and wanted me to acknowledge that he just hooked me up with like a shit ton of money.
Yeah, he's like, "You're welcome, bitch."
Yeah, exactly. All right. Therapy question number 4. Would you rather be able to control fire or water?
Probably water. Fire, it sounds all cool, but water you'd be extremely powerful if you could control water. And as a force, I think water is a more formidable force than fire.
Water puts out fires.
Yeah, so I mean, like the force of like a big fire, so it would be, but like the force of like the ocean, bro, like that's, you can't stop it.
The mother ocean.
That's why whenever these tsunamis like hit and you see these videos or whatever, and they're terrible, when you see them initially, when they like breach and start coming, they don't look as crazy. Like they're not, if you watch those videos, the people that are initially running don't start running really fast, and most of the time until it's too late. You can't really outrun it to begin with. It's like it's inconsequential. You trying to outrun the ocean. So I like New Orleans.
Dude, you're triggering the Iron Ape. He has a recurring nightmare of this.
Like the like whatever. Like, oh my god, I can't believe like the levees broke. I'm like, no, bro, you're built a wall around New Orleans to keep the ocean out. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, how long?
No, dude, we could do it. It's just that they got lazy.
But it's still.
Because George W. Bush hates black people.
You're going to have, like, what I'm saying is it's inevitable that the ocean is going to destroy those levees. So it's inevitable. It's inevitable that the ocean is always going to be beating against that for
Are you
all
kidding
of time.
me? Have you seen the Hoover Dam?
Well, that's not the ocean. So the force of the ocean versus a river is completely
Where's the water
different.
coming from?
And it's still being let out. It's still being flowed through. The ocean. You're talking
we're
about
managing it. Also, out in New York,
you don't manage the ocean.
I think you do. When you're a human, you do.
Nah, bro.
We're all gods now, homie. On God.
Nah, dog. The ocean plays for keeps. Ocean plays for keeps, man. The ocean does not fuck around like that.
I'm not saying
so.
It does.
And then we're also a majority.
It's a formidable opponent. It's just not the heavyweight.
Nah, bro. You couldn't convince me that
I'm a knockout artist.
Building a concrete wall.
I'm a waterman.
Building a concrete wall to keep the ocean out when you could have built a city just like 30 miles back. Like just
I'm a nautical, aquatic, poolside pantheon.
Stupid as fuck. Stupid as shit. Whenever I didn't even understand what the levees were until it was explained.
Until they broke.
And then I was like, bruh, what is... We built a wall. We built like a retaining wall around the ocean. This isn't...
It would work if they knew it was not going to... Like, they had to update it. It wasn't just inevitable that it was going to... Like, it was like they just didn't care.
No, there's just something fucked up about, man, we got to update the levees to keep the ocean out. Nah, bro. Yeah. No. That's the amount of force behind the ocean is like almost immeasurable. Like it's like it will if you have to build a wall and if you left it alone, the ocean would destroy it. It shouldn't be in there in the first place. You're keeping out the inevitable. That's
That's funny is like I haven't been on TikTok probably like literally not once in like 3 months, maybe 4 months. And today I just clicked on it for a second, and like the 5th video was just I didn't know what I was watching. It's just cargo ships full of like just those ship containers.
Yeah, freight containers.
Yeah, getting taken out by the ocean.
Yeah, dude, the ocean
over and over. It's just like do, and it's like just like it's insanity. And I'm like, why is this a video? Like, this is like almost traumatizing to watch. Like, dude, why is this just like casually thrown in my face? It's like China just like, look at what we could do to your supply chain, you fucking idiot. It's like, what?
Well, I would say the ocean is fucking crazy, and then you could control like water in people. You could do all sorts of wild shit. If you could control water, you would be like Magneto, only with water. So you could do some wild shit.
Maybe like Aquaman.
Nah, Aquaman's kind of a bitch, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we're gonna...
well, are we talking about Vinny Chase from Entourage Aquaman, or are we talking about Jason Momoa?
Just the idea of Aquaman in general. I mean, I know he's powerful and whatever, but he's kind of, he's a buster, dude. You could do without him. Like, yeah, if we're fighting somebody at the pool, we'll let you know. But
how dare you, bro?
But the base is in the desert.
I'm a liquid asset infrastructure analyst.
The base is in the desert. And no, you can't flood it and do that. No, that's destroy the whole fucking ecosystem. Fuck off with that.
That's what you're talking about.
We're tired of you flooding places that don't naturally get that much water, Aquaman. You're an ass.
That's what you're talking about.
Quit trying to be relevant.
That's what you want to do.
No, that's what he would do. What is he going to do?
Water because black people can't swim, and this would be finally...
That would be it.
That'd be taking power.
Yeah, like I'd make it to where black people would never drown again.
Oh my God!
Take it off the table, dude.
Black Jesus, because you're walking on water.
Yeah, let's go. They'd be like, "Oh
you're metaphorically
shit!" There's so much. I'd be tripping people out.
Boom.
A wave would come and crash a freight over, and I'd use a wave to put it all back. And they'd be like, "Whoa!" I'd be out in the middle of the ocean, floating in the middle of the ocean, on the middle of Indian Ocean, saving freight. They'd be like, "Whoa, dude! Have you seen that Black Jesus that's wandering around outside of like the Baltic Sea? That guy's wild as fuck."
If that happens, though, remember you still have a 12-year hold before you can cash your Christ coin.
Yeah, so. No, of course. Okay. Yeah, no, I know. I'm gonna trust you. It's not a Christ coin.
I know that shit's gonna go up.
Just like your, just like our beliefs, we don't pump and dump when it comes to Christ coin.
Oh no.
Definitely not.
No.
Definitely not.
They say you can't take it with you. Well, Christ, when you can.
Yeah, it stays. It stays with you. And then your family, of course, will pay tithing.
We figured out what the Egyptians tried to do.
Yeah, and then after your family pays the tithing, then they can get what's left over in your Christ coin. That goes directly to the families.
That's right.
Yeah, because we're family first.
PH and Pharaoh, baby.
Articles. Ex-FBI source charged with Biden lies is tied to Russian intelligence, prosecutors say. So this came out a little while ago. There's this whole Ukraine, Burisma, Joe Biden's getting paid by Burisma. Basically, the whole Burisma scandal is this. Hunter Biden was given a job via nepotism and the fact that he has an influential name. In a Ukrainian energy company, he has no business being there. He got the job strictly based off of name alone. Can think of a lot of Trump kids who got jobs strictly based off of their names as well.
Hold on, let's clarify this. He got a board seat?
Yeah, he got a board seat, yes.
He's never been to Ukraine.
Yeah, no, and he was given a board seat on this company, probably hoping that at some point he would be able to help influence in some way. They were paying him something like $1 million a year. It's literal nepotism. That's what this fucking is. We see it across the board all over the place.
Yeah.
Somebody who is a longtime FBI informant, which has come out recently that this guy's been an FBI informant or something like that, or a tip came through the FBI from a credited source, but they wouldn't say who, they wouldn't say where it came from, but there was like a little footnote where, hey, this guy has information that proves that Joe Biden got rid of a special prosecutor in Ukraine to help Burisma and help Hunter Biden, and that's why Hunter Biden got the board seat, and that he was getting money from Hunter through Burisma for this. Now, if people have looked into the firing of this prosecutor and all of this, and apparently everything's all kosher, from what I understand.
100%.
There's nothing like
this guy. The prosecutor was super corrupt.
Yeah,
and it had nothing to do with Hunter Biden being on the board. Period.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, I'm not naive to say that there's not, like, corruption in all governments across the world, but it's been proven that there wasn't anything nefarious going on, that Joe Biden didn't receive any money or anything like that, and this is the source. This is where they decided we're going to have an intelligence committee with Grassley and fucking Jim Jordan and all these douchebags. And this is who is the other guy who's just been a total tool about it and just looks like an ass?
Comer.
This is the guy that they've spoken about when they're like, we got the smoking gun, buddy.
Yep.
We got this guy, man. He tells it all, man. It's right there in plain text. You can't. Are you blind?
They said they had recordings and shit. Like, I mean, unbelievable. And it turns out this guy is a Russian spy, Russian asset, double agent working for the FBI, completely, and he's been arrested for it. It's like almost comical, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and what's really been interesting is, there you go, long FBI informant charged with fabricating claims about a bribery scheme involving Joe Biden, his Hunter, and an energy company that has extensive contacts with Russian intelligence. Federal prosecutors also say in a new court filing that Alexander Smirnov attended...
Smirnov.
Is it Smirnov? I didn't want to say
Yes, it's fucking Smirnov.
Smirnov, that piece of shit. He just iced us. Admitted to the authorities after he was arrested that officials associated with Russian intelligence were involved in passing a story about Hunter and Joe Biden. A longtime FBI informant was arrested last week and charged with making false statements and creating fictitious records. And what's been interesting is they've talked to Comer, they've talked to Jim Jordan. Obviously, like, this is getting put in their face. This is your dude. This is your songbird. This is your muse of this case. Like, honestly, like, this was
the reason why.
This is the whole reason why we're here, why you're trying to impeach all of this shit. This is what you're basing that off of.
Crazy. How Putin's co-opted the Republican Party. And they're just like out there just doing his propaganda for him.
There was a video of Jim Jordan where he's being confronted. He's like, well, it doesn't change the facts. The facts are...
Oh, no, I mean, yeah, you're right. It doesn't change the facts.
Doesn't change the facts that he got a board seat and he's never been on a board. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure if somebody was dumb enough to have a kid with you, Jim Jordan, your kid would get some job they wouldn't deserve either because you're just a big schmuck and you're a politician.
It's not nepotism. It's buying access. It's like it doesn't cost. Burisma's like, you know, a gas company. Like they've got billions of dollars. Yeah, let's get like the vice president's son on the payroll. You know, that can't hurt. That's how they're thinking about it. And Hunter Biden's thinking about it like, I got a crack problem and I got debt that I owe to like some pimp, probably. You know, that's what he's thinking about. Like, normally, like if you're like the vice president's son, you're like have it so fucking made you don't need to be doing shit like that. But that's what when your son is addicted to crack, and Joe Biden's got all this tragedy in his like life where, you know, his daughter died and like his wife died, right, like in the car accident, and then his son Bo died like recently. So it's like, you know, it's like he's got all this shit going on with his kids. So like one got astray and was cashing in on some bereavement checks. But think about this: Joe Biden was vetted to be the vice president of Barack Obama. Barack Obama was the very first black president nominee at the time, right? When he has to pick his vice president, he had to like make sure that there was nothing, no fuck ups whatsoever from his VP, completely nothing, because like he could like that's why it's like nobody got arrested in his like 8 years like they worked for him, because like he was like they just didn't put up with any bullshit, because like he wore a fucking tan suit and everybody freaked out, right? So Joe Biden's been cleared that way, then been cleared again, you know, like when he's been running for president, and they've like because they vet themselves, you know, so like to see what opposition research will come up. So it's like to think that they don't have this shit figured out. Now you could say, well, what about the documents in his house? Well, I guess like he actually said in a book, like in 2013, I think, that he had classified documents at his house and nobody said anything.
And then he notified them that he had them.
Yeah, and he's the one who called them after the
whole point is not that Trump had classified documents; it's the obstructing of giving them back.
That he tried to hide them
and hiding and lying about giving them back. That's what's weird.
Cover up the evidence.
Yeah. But yeah, so
secrets.
Claims to have contacts with multiple foreign intelligence agencies. And had planned to leave the U.S. for months, just 2 days after he was arrested, to meet with Russian intelligence officials. Prosecutors have said he had access to $6 million in liquid funds, which he did not disclose on pretrial services. Instead, he told them he only had $1,500 in cash on hand and $5,000 in a personal checking account. Prosecutors noted that Smirnov is a dual U.S. and Israeli citizen. While Smirnov has volunteered to turn over his Israeli passport, prosecutors say he could get a new passport anytime at an Israeli consulate. So they've locked this dude up because if he gets out and makes it to the Israeli consulate,
they locked him up because
yeah. He's arrested.
I saw that they let him out on GPS.
Oh, man! I mean, I didn't know. I didn't see that.
That's what I saw like on a headline, but not in the article necessarily.
Okay, he works.
Because I remember thinking like, what? You guys gonna let this fucking guy out? He's a Russian asset. Like, you don't think he's like a flight risk? He's an FBI double agent Russian asset who's now like infiltrated the Republican Party to almost impeach the president of the United States while we're basically at war with Russia. Like, we're gonna be like, yeah, just go out there. We'll put a GPS on you. It's cool.
Yeah, prosecutors said Smirnov reported his contacts to his FBI handler. Smirnov described one of his contacts, named only as Russian Official 1, as someone who controls a group of that are engaged in overseas assassination efforts. Another contact is described as a high-ranking Russian foreign intelligence officer. Smirnov's contacts with Russian officials who are affiliated with Russian intelligence services are not benign. Yeah, so I mean, their whole kind of basis for this shit blew up in their face, which is not surprising that they haven't fully vetted it, and then they find out who it is, and then this is like, oh, we got arrested. I mean, we've talked about this.
And there's going to be no accountability for this. Like, these guys are never going to be like, oh, we fucked up, our bad, they got us. You know, it's going to be like, they're going to double down on it. It's like,
well, what they're saying is, so there's this whole thing where people are talking that if they continue to push this narrative, push this story, that in the long run they're leaving Jim Jordan, Comer, and some of these guys are leaving themselves open to some sort of federal prosecution, because if it's proven that this information is Russian propaganda or is a Russian, so I know, hold on, I'm just talking. If it's proven that this is 100% that, and they continue to push this narrative and fight for it and pursue it, the Department of Justice could pick up an investigation on them for some sort of aiding and abetting a foreign asset.
Well, I think Mike Johnson might be the fact that he just got put in like that Speaker of the House out of nowhere position. He's MAGA Mike. And he's holding up the Ukraine funding, like, is like a little suspicious.
A little sus.
Yeah, a little sus. And like there is like a whole fucking Moscow wing now of the Republican Party, like that like take money from Russians. Like it was like kind of like Trump made it okay. Trump's like, yeah, we like, well, we don't need to go. Like it's either like when it's good for him, he's like, oh, the banks loved us. They called us whales, or he's like, we didn't need to borrow from the banks because we just get money from the Russians. Like that was a quote from them, It's like, so like they're like, oh well, if Trump's getting money from the Russians and he's standing next to Putin in Helsinki, I guess we can. And it's like these guys are not smart enough not to get flipped,
Yeah.
And like they're not like rich. Like these Congress people aren't rich coming in, and it's like throw like a few shekels at them. And like and like all of a sudden, you like see how quickly they bend to Donald Trump.
Yeah, and that's why
their whole patriotic shit is bendable.
And that's why they'll redistrict like Boebert and move districts to try to, because Boebert's gonna lose her spot where she was before, so she's trying to move to another area, Colorado, to still run and get reelected, but get reelected in a different district.
Well,
because
that's scary, man.
Well, no, but she like moved, like she's like moved.
I know, but what is
that? Yeah, but that's not even like gerrymandering. That's just like relocating. That's like but what I'm saying is, because if that's to get, let's say she's getting rich off of that in some way, shape, or form, you don't want to give that up. When the moment you're out, you're done. If you're not useful, if you're not a useful idiot, you're just an idiot. It's a little cut ties. The money, that Russian money, will dry.
No, Lauren, but she could go fucking on Fox News right now.
Oh yeah, she's Newsmax.
Yeah, okay, Newsmax. That's there she goes. She's still working for the Russians. I'm not saying that. I don't know. Is she like I don't know her politics on it. Like, is she like against Ukraine funding? I don't know.
Oh, they all are, but that's just like because they say the same thing. Well, there's this whole commitment, and I think what's it called, Project 25. Have you heard of Project?
Oh 25? Yeah, man. Well,
that's like she'd be a part of that Project 25 mindset. So I think that a lot of these people that have this kind of Christian fascist view on what they want for this country, and they want to impose their religious will upon us, a lot of those people are taking money from the Russians, and the Russians are funding that for them. So while they're getting funding and they're thinking they're doing something that's helping and making America the way they want, they're also weakening us from the inside by taking money from foreign assets to accomplish this goal. So it's not really their goal to begin with. Somebody else is like, somebody's giving them money to like play house.
Hey, Russia's giving them the money. They don't care. They're just like, go fuck it up.
Yeah, because that'll fuck it up. They're like,
cause chaos.
Yeah, like go play house. Here's some money. Go do whatever.
Yeah, and it's the Christian nationalists. I was out on a date the other day, and
nationalist, fascist, same thing.
Because
I think there's a term called Christian. No, it's not neo-fascist, but there's like Christo-fascist or something. There's some short term for it. It's the same thing.
No, I know, but the group is like called Christian nationalists, I think.
Yeah.
But to your point, though, I was out on a date the other day, and this chick was like, "Wow, you're like a nationalist," but she meant like I'm like patriotic. I'm like, no, I'm not a nationalist. Like, I was like she's like, I was like, I'm just a patriot. Like, she's like, yeah, like a nationalist. I'm like, no, that's like means something totally different. And she's like a teacher, and I had to explain this to her.
Yeah, you're like, no, that's bad. That's not good.
Yeah.
In detention memo, Smirnov's attorneys argue that the FBI had known of Smirnov's alleged conduct for years, yet took no steps to end his cooperation, seize his passports, or prosecute him for anything. They also pushed back against the notion that he was a flight risk, noting that the government's prior nonchalant assessment of that very same risk. So, we'll see, but yeah, snatched him up, and yeah, totally a Russian spy. Article number 2, Trump faces $500 million in legal penalties right now. How's he going to pay it? There's more that's come out since this article's come out because it's a good topic to talk about. But so he's lost that civil suit in the New York City fraud case. So he's lost that New York fraud case. Was hit with a $355 million fine. But he owes over $450 million right now and counting total.
Just from, it's over.
It's over $450 million from E. Jean Carroll and from this.
No, it's more than that.
Well, no, but I'm just saying just from
it's
those
over
two.
$500 million.
Well, I'm saying
those two. Because it's $350 million plus $100 million in interest just on the civil fraud. So that's $450. Hers was $85, so it's like $535. But hers was $85 plus interest, so it's like $550 right now, I think.
Yeah. So and he's got
and counting $100K plus every day, and compound interest is a motherfucker when it's going against you.
And it's he's got 30 days to either appeal, but to appeal he has to put that money in escrow so that it's there, so that if he loses his appeal they seize it. And they've talked openly about taking his shit. Loretta James has said like she's prepared to go after Trump Tower, liquidate his assets, liquidate his New York assets, seize his building and his properties, and shut him the fuck down and probably flip him and sell him the fuck off. But she's like prepping and preparing for that, and the clock's ticking. And if he doesn't either appeal and because to appeal he has to put that money aside. That's what a lot of people don't realize. If O.J. Simpson wanted to appeal his civil lawsuit case that he lost against the Browns in the Goldmans, he have to put that money to the side for them and then go through the appeal process. It's not like, oh well, okay, now I don't have to pay it. Like, no, that money's got to be accounted for before we can even appeal this shit. And that's the clock's ticking with crazy interest.
So he has 30 days to put the money up. He can get a bond, but he still has to put up, what is it, like 2% of the, or 10%?
Yeah, it's 10%. Bond's 10.
10%. Yeah, so he has to put up 10%. So that's, so he has to still find $50 million in cash. This is another thing. I was talking to Swoop and the Red Army MAGA idiots at the poker table online. I was like, do y'all think he has 500 million? And somebody was like, yeah, he's got way more. I was like, I guess we'll find out. Like, I don't even have to argue with you because we're gonna find out if he has the cash. But the other thing is, so in the originally in the E. Jean Carroll case, the first one where he had to pay $5 million to her. When he appealed the $5.5 million, he appealed that, and he had to do the same thing. He put up the $5.5 million himself in cash, and I heard the lawyer for E. Jean Carroll say that she's never seen anybody ever do that, because why would you put up $5.5 million when he could have just put up 500,000, 550,000, on a bond, and then she's like, well, it's because he couldn't get a bond. So he couldn't get a bond for $5 million. Who the fuck is giving him a bond for $550 million and counting? Nobody.
Yeah.
The Russians don't have it. They're in war right now.
The Trump testified that he had about $400 million in assets. A figure which matches other reported estimates. He obviously has significant assets outside of that, but the liquid assets would be the first thing you dispose of, and that it doesn't take a small mathematician to understand that's not enough to pay the penalties he's facing.
He's not even that liquid too.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It'll be. Do you think? As of Tuesday, the fundraiser had pocketed over $700,000. Yeah, there was something. It was like a GoFundMe up to help him pay, and it was like up to like it was at like $16K, and it was like, well, he's got a ways to go.
That's an hour.
No, it was like the first.
No, I'm saying that's an hour of interest.
Yeah, right. That's like nothing. Like they're just treading water. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, he also came out with his Never Surrender high top sneaker, selling out.
Shout out.
400 a pair.
Wait,
ugliest fucking things I've ever seen. They look like they were made by like William like Sonoma or something. You buy it in Target and like
No, I
way
think
back.
I think that they really do sell those, like, but they're not the Trump ones, and they're like $15.
Mm-hmm.
But shout out to the guy who paid $9,000 for a signed pair. Did you find out, any information about this guy by chance?
No, did you?
Yeah, he's a Russian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I swear to God, Russian business owner.
Awesome, even better.
Yeah.
That's fucking sweet.
Yep. Just in case you were wondering if Russia was fucking around, they're like kind of like, hey, we're out here.
Further complicating matters. What is it? The judge in the fraud case placed what Wheaton described as 3 levels of restrictions on Trump's business practices. The judge approved the continued oversight by an independent monitor, a former federal judge who basically has veto power over many Trump organizations' actions, and required the Trump organization to hire a new compliance officer. We also temporarily banned Trump and his 2 eldest sons from leading their own businesses or applying for financing from any institutions that does business in New York. The obvious limits the universe of potential financiers for things like the bond, but also, damn, that's wild, but also for additional financing for any Trump ventures. So
so they have access to all the money that the controller.
Yeah.
That's the finance person. That's who I was always trying to call when I was trying to sell copiers. Who's got the money? So if Letitia James, is that the prosecutor?
Yeah.
If she wants to liquidate some of those assets, well, she put the person in charge of that, like, works for the government, so it won't be hard. True. And it's like, and it can't be. This is like literally how Trump thinks. It's like, this can't be happening. Like, that is insane. Like, that building is my building. It's like, it's not insane. The only reason probably why you stayed in business this long was because you were lying the whole time about the whole fucking thing, and they just let you get away with it, dude. Time to cash in that account. That, this is like training day when he goes to that, like, weed dealer's house. It's like, dude, he let you sell like the drugs or whatever to the kids for like 20 years, but it's time to cash in, and that's what they did with Trump. They're like, it's time, dude. You've gone too far. You've gotten too big for your britches.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we'll see, but they're talking. They might be taking his shit. Might be taking his buildings.
I know, but remember, he said like he's like Navalny now. Like with all like how Biden's like Putin and he's like Navalny, how he's being prosecuted.
Yeah.
What did you think about this Navalny? That it was like a couple days
after we talked about it.
Well, but like that the prisoner, there was going to be a prisoner exchange. Did you hear about that? There's going to be a prisoner exchange with Paul Whelan, Evan Gersich, the Washington Wall Street Journal reporter.
Yeah.
And Navalny. All those 3, like the big fish. I couldn't believe it. And then we have this like crazy killer fucker Russian guy that like Putin like has been really, really wanting to get. Some like FSB agent, like, like hardcore like arms dealer type shit like that last guy, but seems even crazier.
Yeah.
So they're about to do this, and Putin. This is the theory I heard is so Putin's like, okay, so in theory, because like this Russian oligarch was like the one who was working the deal with the United States and I forget what other country, and so they're like, so Putin is like, okay, so in theory they're willing to negotiate to release the guy that I want, so I'm gonna take Navalny off the negotiating table by killing him, and so now if you want Paul Whelan and the other guy still, well, I still want that guy, So that way he wasn't. So so that way Navalny couldn't be released. And that's why he was killed. And that's what his wife came out and said. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, is that true? And then all of a sudden, yeah, like reports are that like there was a deal like that was like finalized, and that was like why he was killed when he was.
Yeah, because he vanished off the face of the fucking planet. Nobody could find him.
Isn't that would have been like the craziest
in
news
jail?
ever?
In jail, disappearing in jail.
Like Biden getting Navalny and the other two dudes are Americans out. That would have been like.
Well, and that's that kind of stabs at the heart of a lot of people's criticisms of Biden and not trying to get those guys or other people and being like, oh, why don't we bring back these Americans, but you brought back Brittany Griner and all like that, all that, you know, but right? Like that was a big contentious thing. Like when we got Brittany Griner back
Instead
from
of
Russia.
Paul Whelan.
Yeah, like, but then, you know, the fact that he's still working on deals behind closed doors to get like all the big fish out just proves, kind of just stabs at the heart of the argument that he's not doing anything or that he doesn't care.
And then or he can't win, dude. He got the Iranian, the people that were being held as prisoners in Iran, and I guess hostages, and it was like, oh, but you gave them $9 billion. And it was like, no, it was like their money that was frozen in South Korea. And now we unfroze their money. And now Qatar is in control of it, and it has to be spent on humanitarian purposes. And then when the shit popped off after October 7th in Israel, we were like, just kidding, deal's off. And so now they don't even get their money.
Yeah, we could just refreeze it.
We just did.
But yeah, so
but that's kind of fucked up, because that's gonna fuck up with our negotiations in the future.
Yeah,
like that's the thing. Like when you go like renege on the Iranian nuclear deal, it's like people aren't gonna trust you when you try to go to do another.
Yeah,
deal.
but I do hope at this point the world is kind of understands what us in America are dealing with like the stupid shit. So I think a lot. No, I think that some countries, before they even want to come to the table with us, they're in a hold pattern until we get our shit together.
Oh yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, they're like, okay, yeah, like Biden can be trusted, but guess what? Like, is Trump coming back in?
That's what they're just waiting.
So we can't do any long-term diplomacy, or we can. We've been doing it, like we have been doing a lot of it with like like the quad,
but it's like
the ox.
Yeah, but it's more like soft shell shit, because at the end of the day, like you can't say that what you're gonna promise me today is gonna be true a year and a half from now. 9 months.
But I mean that's always been the case as far as
true, but it's more.
Foreign policy had been very more kind of we're all on the same kind of page.
Yeah,
more or less.
Yeah. No, that
we didn't have like a whole Russia wing.
That's what I'm saying. It's like now. What I'm saying is now that it's more erratic and like it's not
irrational.
The outcomes could be more drastic. So that's what, like, all right, dude, like we're cool. We'll figure something out. But we got you. But like, look, man, you guys got to win this election and figure this out. Because I'm not going to do anything and have this bounce back. Like, nope, we're waiting. We can talk about it.
Insane though. Like it's like there's only one party who has adults in the fucking room, and it's like, and now we can't be trusted because the like fucking psychotic like children party like might get in power, and just like we don't even know what the fuck they're gonna do. Like,
No, I know.
Like that alone should be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't vote for those idiots.
Yeah,
it's just like they don't know how to govern. They don't even know what the fuck they're talking about anymore, and they don't care.
Yeah,
and maybe they never did.
Yeah, I mean, we shall see. Article number 3: the science of IVF. What to know about Alabama's new ruling. IVF is in a freezing pattern right now. That is, so I'll just read the article. In Alabama Supreme Court ruling that frozen embryos can be considered extraterrine children. I don't even know if I'm saying that. EXTAUTERINE. Because I want to say it's like extraterrine children. under the state law has major implications for how in vitro fertilization, commonly known as IVF, is performed. The ruling came in a wrongful death. See, I didn't know that where this ruling came from. The ruling came from a wrongful deaths lawsuit brought by couples whose frozen embryos were destroyed in an accident at a fertility clinic in Mobile, Alabama. The court agreed that the couples that the embryos were protected under the state's Wrongful Death of a Minor Act. Legal and reproductive medicine experts say the ruling raises the risks and costs of IVF for both patients and medical practitioners. There's a lot of things that I have wrong with that, especially in this article, destroyed in an accident at a fertility clinic.
We about to get child support checks, baby, for embryos. Let's
like,
go.
And how
child tax credit. Let's go. How many dependents I got? I got 8 embryos.
What is that? Like, oh, I had 32 kids and they all died at once. Like, what is that? Sorry. Already, and because IVF,
seriously.
I know, but I'm just saying IVF is important for people too. So, anyways, already at least 3 providers in Alabama have announced that they are pausing IVF treatments in light of last Friday's court ruling, and an Alabama lawmaker has said that he will introduce state legislation that would clarify that IVF can continue in the state for the moment. The legal ramifications for IVF only affect Alabama. That could change as other states adopt personhood statutes to say life and rights begin at conception. This is what these Christian...
Of course, this is what I was going to. Christian nationalists.
This is exactly what... This is what we talked about with Roe. Like this, that's where it starts. It's like it just starts slowly rolling downhill. I was telling somebody, one of these
marriage is coming, man.
One of these people who's like, oh, Trump's not a criminal because he's not convicted. But the things that I talked about in like 2020, it's one of like 2 people I spent a lot of time with during lockdown, right? I was either working, I'd be chilling with this person or chilling with somebody else. When I was chilling with him, we'd be, we get in arguments about stuff. This is like peak riots. Like, I don't get it. And I'm like, well, of course you fucking don't. And it was like this whole, like, honestly, it was like a Tuesdays at Maury's fucking book. You could write a book about this summer. Because it was just 2 people from like completely opposite ends of the spectrum and views, and we're just like battling shit out. And it's like we're stuck in this house, we're not going anywhere else. So who else am I like actually talking to? You know what I'm saying?
Sounds healthy.
No, well, I mean, but it was because there's lots of things that I said in that moment. Like that's whenever there was a Supreme Court seat up, and are they gonna? All that stuff was going on, and they forced through Amy Coney Barrett. All that stuff was happening during that period of time. And in that period of time when it was deciding if they could or couldn't and all the Brett Kavanaugh shit, I was saying like, hey man, like this is all about trying to overturn Roe v. Wade. That's all they give a shit about because they're coming for IVF and contraceptives and all sorts of shit. And I was saying all this stuff. And they're like, nah, that's bullshit, blah, blah, blah. No, because they say that they're not going to do that. And I'm like, she's already made so many other open public statements about how she disagrees with the fact that Roe v. Wade is where it is. You can't trust that she's not going to overturn it. And then now we have conversations.
She's a liar.
And he's just like, you were right, dude. He's like, you're fucking
Really?
right. Yeah, literally. He's like, dude, he's like, it's fucking crazy. He's like, so much of what you said was probably going to happen has happened. And I was like, yeah, dude. Like, because it's like,
that's rare.
Because they're open. It's undeniable. When they overturned it, I was like, I told you, dude. And it was like, yeah, it took 2.5 years, but
yeah, Trump just took credit for that today.
He does every day. He does.
I know, but he like tries to hide it, and it's like and it's like the best like selling argument for Biden is remind them that Trump got Roe v. Wade overturned.
And see, this is what's so IVF is, where they collect eggs. They, people who have difficulties having kids naturally. Sometimes it can have a better success rate for certain couples, whatever. But people choose to do this, or they freeze their embryos so they can have kids later. Lots of stuff. But it's a way to have more fucking babies for people who can't have babies most of the time under normal circumstances. People who normally use IVF who don't and have a kid are the ones who are like, we tried for like 15 years and he's just our miracle child. We weren't supposed to be able to have kids. Like that. Like IVF helps those people have more kids. So it's not like they're purposely trying to not like to take away people's ability to have kids. It's the opposite. So Alabama, who is pro overturning Roe v. Wade, who sent shit up the ladder to try to overturn Roe v. Wade recently before Texas did and before everybody else did, and is also one of these states that had an automatic trigger law, a law that was set in effect like Louisiana and like some of these other states. At the moment that this law is hypothetically ever overturned, this is the new law. But
wink.
But that has to be overturned first. But we just want to get this on the books in case that happens.
That's insane.
That's like that.
Can you even do that?
Yeah, no, that's real.
No, like, I know that existed, but now I'm thinking like
that's wild.
These are like IEDs of like laws. Like you could pass a law and then die, and then like that law's just sitting there like waiting to like, explode.
You can't like I can't think of anything in life that wouldn't sound ludicrous as an example. That's like, all right, man, she's your girlfriend now, she's your wife now, but y'all break up, we're getting married. Yeah. Like, what? We're getting married. If y'all get a divorce, that's it. We're getting married. No, you don't have a choice. And then you get a divorce, and then your buddy's like, "Yep, it's time." And it's like automatic. Yep, let's go. We're getting married. Go to the courthouse. And she goes, "Okay."
What is it? It's like they just have to. It has to go so quickly that it has to be on the books, or it's like that's insane. It's like let's try to put some weird shit on the books.
Well, that's where, like I said, is big state, small government, which is supposed to be state governments, acting like big government, like the federal government. So they want to impose their own state style or their own federal state law shit and wait till the federal law gets overturned so that they're right. So it's like, using it as the guys, like we need the ability to govern ourselves and have more rights on a state level. Sure, I totally agree with that. But if you're going to use that to strip people of more rights, that's why the federal government
they want to
exists.
be in your life. So they want you to prevent you from not having an unwanted pregnancy. So that's state property. They want to prevent you from having kids with the IVF. That's state property. And then what we were saying is there's 5 states, including Missouri, Texas, Arizona, Arkansas, I think, and then I forget the other one, who have laws on the books that once a woman is pregnant and who's married, they are not allowed to get divorced from their husband.
With exceptions in some states. So some states have an exception if there's like domestic abuse or something like that. There are exceptions. Some states have no exceptions. Where it's like you gotta have the kid.
Rape your wife.
What's wild
she
is
can't leave you.
when you. Well, no, hold on. Well, I mean, that's
what it's like sanctioning.
Well, let's be honest here. Like the whole term of like marital R word and that happening, that didn't become illegal in all states until like 1993. So up until 1993, some dude who could be married to a woman and force himself on her, and she could not want that, and there's nothing she could do about it because they are married. That was totally on the till 1993. Look that shit up. We were alive.
You know that it's illegal.
We were kids when that became illegal. Whenever marital R word became illegal, well, I just don't want to get demonetized on this, but it's like on like the stream, but it's true. That became illegal in 1993. Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin was catching passes for the fucking Cowboys when that became outlawed. Nationwide.
That was a long ass time ago.
That's a long ass. It's not that long ago though. To think about that it's we are older than the law that says that you're not allowed to do that to your spouse. That's wild.
It's not your spouse. It's your wife.
Well, yeah. I mean,
specifically.
So there are some of those weird, and it's an old, and that this like not being able to get divorced if you're pregnant is an old law, but it's still on the books. That's the whole thing, is they leave them on the books because they like them, and nobody tells them that they can't have them on the books because that's their state right. And there's no federal law that says you can't do that. So
how has this not come up earlier? Of like where somebody was like trying to get divorced and was like couldn't, and then just like got a fucking like.
But divorce is viewed now way differently than it was in like 93 or 95. Like that was, back in the day.
No, I'm just saying it's 2024, dude.
I know, but the Pope just recently was like, yeah, divorce is all right. Isn't it that bad? You're cool.
I'm just saying, like a woman being held captive because she's pregnant, you think that she could get like one of those like
which makes
celebrity
sense.
lawyers like Mark Garagos or something.
Which in some cases,
or the lady
hold
one.
on, and which may, and now this isn't true for all cases, and maybe I'm on my Hallmark shit. And this is not just hold on.
That Hallmark
this
shit,
is not
dog.
this is not justifying people who like leave their kids or anything like that. But what I would say is this: that would make a lot of fucking sense. If some woman in 1984 was in some abusive marriage and couldn't get divorced from her husband because she was pregnant, and she ran the fuck away with the kid and changed her fucking name and tried to start her whole life over to get away from some crazy fucking dude, because she legally couldn't do anything about it and she couldn't divorce him because she was pregnant. That makes more sense. I can see that happening, which is sad. That's actually really fucking sad. But you've heard stories and you hear people and they're like, oh, our mom left us, or depending on the circumstances. Because I can tell you, if it was an abusive household, that might not have been the most healthy thing for that mom, right? Or it might, or we left our dad and I never knew my dad and we just dipped. And apparently he was like drunk all the time. Yeah, I bet. Because she might not have been able to divorce him if she was pregnant with this kid, for sure. Like legally, she could not escape that man.
Right.
That's crazy. And so then think, you way back in the day, you couldn't divorce him if you were pregnant with him or without his permission. You couldn't get a credit card without his permission. You couldn't have a job without your husband's permission. That's insane.
Well, I mean,
it's true.
Yeah. Have we gone a little too far with it?
Stop it. No, I'm just saying that the control aspect over it's existed. But I mean, in this, these people sued, obviously, and I mean, if you had an accident happen, I'm not sure if the people who are suing the IVF clinic realize that like they've kind of like started a roller coaster, like by bringing this lawsuit and having it, which I'm sure they were looking.
Oh yeah, there's like bipartisan politicians who are trying to pass a law to bypass what's going on in Alabama.
Because Alabama, they're trying to create immunity for doctors who perform IVF. They're trying to create a law that will give them immunity to practice their jobs, and that's what I was going to say.
Think about how many humans are alive right now
because of IVF. Yep.
Like, it's just such a stupid like battle to pick. I guess like maybe it's not like a battle to them. It's just like this is the natural progression of like they got this in court. This is what we believe. This is what we believe the law says, and so yeah, I guess so. You're like, that's to them. Maybe, I don't know. But if this is like them trying to go harder and harder, it's like, well, guess what? Like I think about all the Christians.
Well, think about Alabama right now.
They're call it a little miracle baby,
Well, no, right now Alabama had a court case. The Supreme Court ruled a certain way, and now all the politicians are trying to backtrack and change it. While Trump's standing up there taking credit for the fucking thing that's the only reason this is able to happen in the first place.
Yeah.
So they're like shit. Like he's just like it's
sports.
It's just like that Spider-Man meme of everybody pointing at each other. It's fucking crazy because now he's got.
Did you see what your boy Tommy Tuberville said?
Tommy Tuberville is a moron.
Sorry, Senator Tommy Tuberville.
And like Coach Tuberville in a minute. I think the clip is 3 minutes. He contradicts himself like 5 times. He's like, yeah, he's pro it being done. Then he's like, oh, that's terrible. And then it's like he has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Then he admits that he hasn't read shit about it. You're just like, bruh. But, he's somebody that's going to be making a decision on
this. Is he? I don't know. Like, is he all there? Have you seen his ears?
Yeah. It's wild that you could just win a national championship at Auburn, and now you're like,
His first day was January 6th, so it's like he born on the 4th of July. That's like for him, he was born on January 6th.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all he knows, dude.
Yeah, that's all he knows.
He's traumatized ever since that day.
Ever since that.
He's like in a zombie, dude. He's just like, I don't know.
So now they're backtracking. Fertilized eggs often don't survive in nature and in the lab. Feinberg says it's common for fertilized eggs to not make it. That's just how fertility naturally works. Every month, there are many women that are walking around that probably have fertilized eggs or embryos that are floating in their body that do not become pregnancies. She says a fertilized egg may have it has to make it to the uterine cavity and implant and continue to grow. Even a healthy 28-year-old woman will only happen naturally about 25% of the time. IVF in a lab only about 50% of the time, 55% of the time the embryos make it into the blastocyst stage, she says.
And I made it into the blastocyst.
And that's at the best IVF clinics. Feinberg says Alabama Supreme Court ruling raises the risks that a medical practitioner could now be charged for wrongful death for embryos lost at any point during the process. And that's what I'm saying is,
what are we doing?
And look, I get it. Like, there's an accident.
Handmaid's Tale.
That's a process. Like, IVF is a process. I'm sure it's not great. I'm sure it's tough, and I'm sure it's really stressful. Those people went through the process and they lost some fertilized eggs. So I understand them, seeking damages and wanting, like being upset. 100% right. Like I firmly think that it's really hard to get mad at people for how they feel, because some people can't control how the world affects us around us on a day-to-day basis. So try to be more empathetic to how people feel, whether I agree with you or not. Like, that's how you feel. So that's real for you.
Fuck your feelings.
But I don't think they understand that the ramifications of having this lawsuit going to the Supreme Court, them ruling in favor of that and choosing this route. Now, those people, they might not be able to go back and do this at another clinic. So, like, by doing this and pursuing this legal lawsuit, now they might not be able to go do IVF again. Because of their own lawsuit, they're cutting their legs out from under.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like,
So now
the accident happened because you were doing IVF, right, and there's an accident.
Oh shit! We actually found a bunch of them back here, but now we have to hold all your kids hostage.
Now we're just not going to do it, and so that means every egg that's in IVF right now that is sitting in a whatever they keep them in is slowly deteriorating over time because they don't last for forever. That's literally what this says. The best ones, half of them, 55% would make it past the stage to be implanted, right?
Like, the process requires some that are going to die.
And they die less in a lab than they do naturally in the ZAGE.
Yeah, because you know how women's like ovaries
but so it's like you're taking away statistically one of the most effective ways, especially for people who really want to have kids. You don't go do IVF because you maybe want to have a kid. It's not cheap. It's not easy.
You can't have kids. You can't get rid of kids. And we're not going to take care of the kids. The kids aren't all right.
Unless you can't have natural babies, you can't have a baby because the other one is too efficient. And it's done. Some smart man who wears a mask, a mask is going to put a baby in you. Get out of here,
buddy.
Is
it COVID? Is it Antifa? Is it both? I don't know.
I don't know. But no, I mean, it's super, it's the logic behind it is stupid as fuck. And I'm not saying that they're wrong for pursuing this lawsuit, but I do think this lawsuit and the outcome of it makes the lawsuit kind of stupid as fuck. Not the reason why they did it. I get it, but it's kind of stupid as fuck if everybody's going to...
Well, no, I think it was actually going to just go to the Supreme Court and then it'll get clarified and overturned.
Oh, because that's what our Supreme Court's going to do. Our federal Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court, we'll sit down with Harlan Crow.
Dude,
we'll talk to the ghosts of the Koch brothers.
They got to get their poll numbers up.
We'll talk to the ghosts of the
appointments, but they got to get their poll numbers up.
We'll talk to the Koch brothers, the ghosts of the Koch brothers, see how they feel, and then we'll go from there. Well, one of them's alive and one of them's dead, but I mean they're both ghosts, to be honest.
I think it's so funny, I've heard lawyers say, like, with this Trump thing, like, they're going to say, like, he's allowed to be on the Colorado ballot because states aren't allowed to do this. We're not even going to say if he's an insurrectionist or not. We're just saying states can't do that. But we're not going to say that he's immune. So it's a 1-1. And it's like, they don't give a fuck. They are on the bench for life. Like, Clarence Thomas got exposed for being the most corrupt fucking judge of all time, hanging out with some dude named Harlan Crow,
And
like
others
like
going
some
on like
bat villain.
tens of millions of dollars of
Yeah,
trips and gifts
like
and
yeah, like dude, like huffing carbon monoxide in the RV, like in the Walmart parking lot together, like a bunch of weirdos. Like and we nothing's gonna happen, dude. Like so these guys can just literally get away with anything. They're the ones who are in charge. They're like, yeah, we're like, you
yeah.
can't.
And then like, and you know, there are some people on the, you know, who are Democratic who aren't going to be voting, or who are Democrats who say they're not going to be voting for Biden because, you know, they're pro Palestine and they don't like what's going on over there, our stance on it, giving them weapons. There's all sorts of stuff, and some of those people are using IVF to have kids. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like there's issues, and then there's other issues, and like there's these issues that people have talked about for decades. These people have laid out the groundwork. They've got the backing from foreign governments and from people here to like try to accomplish this agenda. And the only way we can stop them is really by going out and voting, because at the end of the day, they're going to do shit like this, and they're going to seize opportunities like this to try to implement. Oh, well, yeah, because now, and that means that all of IVF is kind of sus. So, and I'm a federal judge. We're a Supreme Court.
And then they're coming for the condoms.
And then, yeah, oh yeah, dude, like that's going to be like, they're going to take away
Birth control.
The ability for you to like have sex when you want.
Literally, there is a Congress guy who said he's the same guy who put the whole thing about critical race theory. He was the one who like made it like a big thing.
Yeah.
He said that he's trying to get rid of recreational sex.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, wait till like the Joe Rogan like bro nuts, the Joey bag of bro nuts. Here that recreational sex is like not cool with Republicans.
How can I not remember his name? Carville was talking about this, like, you know,
James Carville.
Yeah, like, you know, Project 25 and that group of people. And he's like, the worst thing you can do is not take these people serious, because they believe what they say. They're not dumb. They're not playing stupid. They genuinely believe this shit, and they will smile. They've been
plotting on this for like way longer than Trump's been around.
Smiling and shaking your hand and go through all this and, oh, you know, brotherhood, fellowship shit, and then they'll take your fucking rights away, and they'll impose their will upon you, and they'll smile while they fucking do it. And the worst thing you can do is think that they're not serious and not take them serious, because they believe this shit. They believe what they believe more than you believe they're fucking crazy. That's how much they believe this shit. And it's true. It's like, it's not an act. These people aren't acting this way.
I know. And we have this like perfect recipe of crazy fucking Trump, who is like basically a, you know, like a malleable, like people can just like, whoever's there to flatter him can get shit like that they want. You have MAGA Mike Johnson, a Christian nationalist, like in the speakership, you know, second in line to the presidency. So it's like these things are like lining up, and you know, to where they can actually really fuck shit up, like if they can win this election. But you're right, I think with the IVF, and then also like, you know, them calling the bluff on the border deal. You know, Republicans are at some point, the bullshit, you know, it starts to crumble. It's like with Trump, you know, he just get away with everything, and now he just can't stop losing. And it's like eventually it comes, you know, the accounts get cashed in. It's like, y'all aren't good at politics anymore because you're just a bunch of psychos. So you're like, you know, they didn't want to like Roe v. Wade to actually get overturned. They wanted to be a you know, a thing they could use for politics. So because there was a ton of voters who were like my mom, one issue voters. They voted on abortion. There's nobody who was like on the left who was a one issue voter voting for on the abortion pro-choice, right? That didn't exist because we already had it. So now you've taken that off the table. So now you don't even have, so like now they're pissed off because now there's all these people on the left who are like, holy shit, who are now like activated because of this, and they lost like the Christian activation that they had when they were like railing against Roe v. Wade. So it backfired on them, just like the border's backfiring. Now the IVF, and it's just like, I think there could be a blue wave, baby.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean,
Biden started this wave.
And now it's like the backtracking and the scrambling, and now bipartisan effort to protect the people that the Supreme Court just said are criminals and murderers.
What people, the embryos?
Yeah, no, to protect the people who are just IVF workers, and that's their job. They try to help people have kids, like keep them, because then what?
Disgusting.
Like it's so
lock them up.
IVF can be used to avoid genetic diseases. It can also be used by same-sex couples who want children. Now, I could see people not wanting to do that. IVF surrogacy and other art procedures or treatment to have children for same-sex couples. So there's probably some people who are totally against that. But like, it shouldn't matter. It's people wanting to have kids. Surplus frozen embryos reduce costs and risks of IVF. Our ability to freeze embryos has really revolutionized how we care for fertility patients. So it seems like freezing them, what they're able to do now, keeps them long. So from a cost-effective perspective, you want to get a couple embryos so that you don't have to go back and go through multiple egg retrieval cycles.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, freezing embryos can increase the chance of success. Many patients don't succeed with IVF after one cycle. Having multiple frozen embryos makes it more economically feasible for couples to try again for a successful implantation, because the bulk of the cost of IVF comes from the ovarian stimulation and egg removal process. So that's why they're like, we don't want to just, we take more and we keep them. So if the first time doesn't work, we can try again.
Yeah, man. They're not humans.
With the intent to have a fucking kid.
Embryos aren't humans.
It costs anywhere from $12,000 to $24,000, depending on where you go. Frozen embryo costs $25,000 to $6,000 each time. Or she says transferring an embryo.
You want an embryo? I can get you an embryo.
That's crazy, man, and that's like the implications nationwide are huge. That could be something bad.
Because as they say, as Alabama goes, so goes the nation.
Last article, real quick. Because we were at 2 hours and 18 minutes.
I know.
It's good. It's a good one. Cameo is being used for political propaganda by tricking the stars to get involved. This video appeared this fall with a Russian tile card reading an urgent appeal from Hollywood stars to Mia Sandu. Sandu is a pro-European president of Moldova, a small country tucked between Romania and Ukraine that's long been in the shadow of Russia's influence. She's repeatedly criticized Russia's invasion of Ukraine and is frequent target of propaganda. It opens with a series of celebrities greeting Sandu as Moldova's national anthem plays in the background. It cuts quickly to action star Dolph Lundgren, to Lindsay Lohan, to Brian Baumgartner, to Exhibit, and other, all addressing the camera selfie style. Then things get weirder. The celebrities likely reading...
X marks the spot? No, X spots the marks.
Reading from a phonetically translittered script, start repeating the same phrase. In halting Russian. Davati Sikom Sandu. That translates to, let's get rid of Sandu. We Hollywood stars support the people of Moldova in their desire to overthrow you, Sandu. The text reads, suddenly celebrity interest in former Soviet states, and from it that's how I'm just, so basically they're being tricked on Cameo to go online. Elijah Wood, Mike Tyson, Priscilla Presley were tricked into asking Zelensky to seek help for his addiction.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
So people are going on and tricking these fuckers. They're just like paying them and getting them to say, and they'll say whatever on camera.
Friend of the pod, George Santos.
I was like, Moldova?
He sued Jimmy Kimmel for
tricking him. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work out too well.
Yeah, dude, come on, man. You're the biggest trickster. You know.
I told you that he was in Southlake. It's with the Southlake mayor.
With the Southlake mayor.
Yeah, and like
the mayor shit.
Yeah,
even the mayor
bossing up.
Yeah,
it's like that's like one of the worst people to say. Like, I'm not politically leaning and I don't care, and then you take a picture with George Santos of all people. But yeah, so the people are tricking these people into doing that. Received a cameo request. I put the name
It's
Mandy.
not a trick. They're paying them.
It said we got a request from a user by the name of Mandy. He said he was told the video was meant for a person named Sandu who is becoming a stunt woman. Instead, the videos were scrubbed from their cameo watermarks and added together to a supercut claiming that Hollywood had turned on Sandu. It widely spread on TikTok, Facebook, and on pro-Russian Telegram channels. I bet those are fucking wild. Getting hundreds of thousands of views and was picked up by Russian media on their For You feed. Dude, that's funny. That's like shitty, but it's funny. You gotta be careful, man. We should start a cameo and see if anybody gets us to do Russian propaganda.
What?
We should make a cameo account.
I mean, I was in the order, which was basically propaganda, and our logo was the hammer and sickle.
Yeah.
And we didn't pick that. It was the computer guys who just watched the show, and they're like the graphics guys. They're like, hey, we made this for you guys.
Oh, like tight.
I was like, oh, bro, the Russians have like infiltrated the IT department.
Like, yeah, just walking in. It's like, oh, really? Yeah. Why is it snowing in here?
Meanwhile, the Nazis are like with the art and the because they're gonna put it in the hill to hide it.
Stop doing that.
Oh, sorry.
That's a bad look.
I heard there was a bunch of Nazis at CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Committee thing.
It was like empty too. There was like nobody there.
Yeah,
but Nazis.
Yeah. But like apparently there's always been kind of Nazis, but they're like out on the fringe. But now it's like a bunch of like way more Nazis, and they're just like mixing in with the crowd. Like everybody was cool with it. It's crazy how things change.
It's true. Well, that's it for articles, sir.
All right, y'all.
That was a good one. 127, the spy who peed on me. The picture, the thumbnail for this is like a picture of Trump. And it's like raining. And it's like yellow rain. It like looks like he's getting peed on. So hopefully that doesn't get taken down. But whatever.
Don't you eat that yellow snow. Meditate, bitches.
Y'all be good. Like, follow, subscribe, share. We appreciate y'all as always. You're wonderful. Stay safe. Stay good. Stay focused. Stay clean. Stay strong. Go fuck yourselves.
Shut up.
Recording stopped.